Welcome to PR Powerhouse, helping female entrepreneurs to get in the press and to gain PR. I'm Jo Swan, and I'll be sharing how to harness the power of the media to boost your credibility and business visibility, no matter what stage in business you're at. Because I'm on a mission to show you that PR is not just for the big boys. In the show, you'll learn how to reach out to journalists and own your place in the press, because you are ready to become a PR powerhouse. Hello, and welcome to your next episode of PR Powerhouse. Now, today I am joined by another one of our fabulous clients, and today we're going to be talking about how to actually get started with PR. Because we've talked a lot about how it makes you feel. We've talked a lot about the importance of using it to share your knowledge, to sort of stand up to your responsibility of sharing your story so that you can help others. We've talked about that. But I want to come back to how do you actually get started with PR? Because the lady that I'm going to introduce you to today, she's actually, you will see her all over the media now. She's totally managed to court the press. She is someone who is now recognized as an influencer, someone who is very much a spokesperson in her space. So the media come to her to ask her to be a part of their stories, to be a part of their conversations, to actually help guide and direct them in terms of what needs to be said about a certain subject area, which you're going to find out what that is in a minute. So when you look at Rachel and you go and check her out, you will see that she's very much has a strong media profile. She is very, very press friendly and she's very active, but it wasn't always that way. So I'm going to take you back to the beginning before she started work on her PR and talk you through her journey of actually how she became comfortable with the role that PR could play in her business, and I guess the process that she kind of had to go to get her to a point of feeling PR ready. Because even though we knew that Rachel was absolutely a PR dream, she didn't see that herself. So let's take it from there. So in my intro, I have just shared with you how these days Rachel is somewhat of a PR powerhouse. That today you're going to hear in her words exactly the journey that she's been on to get to this point, because I want you to feel inspired that you can do this too. And I want you to know that we all start somewhere and that actually you're probably not a million miles away from where Rachel started. So a huge, huge, huge welcome to you, Rachel. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yay, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Oh, I always love our chats because we get so excited, don't we? We get so excited about what you've managed to achieve, and how you're using PR just makes me so happy to really see you spread this mission and this message that you're so passionate about. So maybe we should start by telling everybody who you are, what you do, and why. So your little introduction as to who Rachel is and what you're here to do in the world.
Yeah, so who am I? I class myself as a silver curve model, and I am a body confidence activist, host of the Out of the Bubble podcast, and basically a champion of midlife women.
Indeed. And that champion needed a voice, didn't they? So this for me is what makes me so happy that you have decided to embrace PR, because you were somebody who really found themselves and their mission and their purpose, and then needed to spread that message. So tell us a little bit about how you ended up being this person that we see right now, that we hear right now.
So I started modelling at 46, and I never thought, I would never have had the confidence to do this in my 20s and 30s. So I started this new career as a model at 46, thinking it might just be kind of generic lifestyle stuff. I've got grey hair, curvy, not probably a stereotypical model image. But actually it turned out that I hit the industry at the right time, and I've gone on to become a kind of niche market of lingerie modelling. I'm 52 now. I'm currently in the Bravissimo shop windows, and I'm really proud of that. And so it's just grown into something that I've become so passionate about, and I've modelled for lots of different brands, and I absolutely love doing what I'm doing. But at the beginning I was scared stiff. I don't think I had an Instagram page when I first started. So it's been a journey.
You've come a long, long way. So I guess maybe let's start by thinking about when PR came on your radar. So why were you interested in it? Because I kind of feel like you were intrigued by it for a little while before you fully explored it. So how did it even become something that you were like, oh, well, maybe I should look at this PR thing.
Yeah, so within the kind of first year of my modelling, I did a big job with Ashley Graham and Lizzo in the Bahamas.
Oh, yeah,
And,
like you do.
and I'd literally just started an Instagram page just before I'd gone. My daughter to help me set it up and everything. So I had about 300 people following it by the time I'd gone to the Bahamas.
Yeah.
And then when I came back, because obviously they were big names, so they were in the Daily Mail, the whole trip was in all the press,
Yeah.
which was a huge shock to me because obviously I was included in that. I was like, okay, didn't
Yeah.
like it, bit scary, felt a bit out of control because I didn't have control over, where it was going, which really took me by surprise. But I came back to about kind of 5,000 followers on Instagram within a week.
That's pretty helpful.
And I just kind of, it grew from there, but I never really took it seriously. I knew that articles, whenever I was in campaigns, that other people were writing about me. And that I could see that I was gaining a few more followers each time this happened. But I'd never really had the courage to take control of it myself. And then I started thinking, well, actually, if these people are writing about me, then what can I do to promote myself? And it is that thing, and I think particularly for women, it's really hard to get past that fear of promoting ourselves.
Yeah,
We're
it feels so
conditioned.
uncomfortable, so unnatural, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it does. But I think the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And I think you have to be your biggest kind of trumpeter, don't you, to blow your own horn, really.
Yeah, well, it's exactly, and it makes me so proud to hear you say this, because this is exactly what we were saying to you at the beginning of our journey together, that it still feels so weird when you're not ready, like when you're still fighting against it. I can say to you until the cows come home, there's an absolute reason for this. You've got to get behind your purpose and your mission. But if you are terrified about the thought of putting yourself out there, and you're saying to yourself in your own head, well, no, who am I to do this? Well, no one's going to take me seriously, or people are going to laugh at me, or I'm not ready for this, then I can talk to you for hours, days, weeks, months, and we won't take the action until you really believe in your heart that there's a reason why you should do this. And I think that internal conversation that you have with yourself, and that process of really connecting so deeply to why you do what you do, and the basic fact that if you don't tell anyone about it, you can't make the impact that you want.
Yeah,
Comes
exactly.
back to that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Otherwise, what are you doing it for? I think you do have to start questioning yourself. Why am I doing this? Why am I spending all this time working so hard to kind of lift other women up if they're not going to hear what I'm saying? And I think, you helped me massively with that. And I think with that time when I worked with you before then, I'd done lots of social media stuff, but never really kind of put myself out there into the kind of PR arena myself. So that really started to shift things now. And now I'm really active and I love it. And really try and get as much as I can whenever I can. And the interesting thing is that you taught me is all the different angles you can go to as well. You don't have to stick to your same generic story. There's loads of different PR angles to everyone's story. And that I find that really exciting.
Yeah, it's about being a bit more playful with it, isn't it? And stop seeing it as something that's so intense and so sort of linear, that you need to be able to be a little bit flexible and a little bit playful with it. And I think that for me starts with the media bio and the process that you go through to get that ready. Did that feel like quite a significant point in your journey?
Yeah,
huge. She's nodding a lot.
Yeah, huge, because when I wouldn't even know where to start contacting journalists before having my media bio, whereas now I can just quickly attach it and it's already there, good to go. And I tweak it every now and again when I update it. Yeah. But that just felt like a concrete bit of evidence about me that I felt really confident with, that I could send out to the world and to the press. And that was so, once I'd done that, everything seemed to get so much easier.
Everything falls into place, doesn't it? Because you start to see where you fit, and you start to see that you've got value to offer, and actually where that value could lie, and what journalists are going to be most interested in the content, because you've been so specific about, well, this is my mission, this is my message, and you make yourself a no-brainer for the perfect journalists. And I think the process of the media bio as well, which we've spoken about so many times on here, is quite a cathartic process, because we really ask you to think back about who you are as a person, not just who you are in this business, But why you've got to this point, what were those defining moments? What are the values that you've always held true? Like, I find it so interesting when we ask people as a child, what were you like? What are your qualities? What do you think you've kind of brought with you? What's the real you, like in there deep down, that might have been buried along the way? And that part of it I find so interesting. And that's other people find that interesting as well. So that's when you have content then to share that is not just about your business, it's about something so much more human. And that's where we've got to get to, isn't it? We've got to be human in PR.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's interesting because I think lots of people talk about that they kind of fear of failure when it comes to PR and press and stuff. And for me, I think it was fear of success that held me back for so long. And then once you start putting your story out there and you get really positive reaction and you start engaging with the people that you really want to reach, that all helps build your confidence. And you think, actually, I'm just going to keep going with this.
It fuels it, doesn't it, in a positive way? Yeah, because you see nothing terrible has happened. And actually, the opposite has happened. This has attracted people to me. This has brought people out of the woodwork to say, oh my God, I feel like this too. And thank you so much for helping me or supporting me. So it's definitely quite a key part of the process of really getting everything down onto one page, well, not one page, several pages, but onto a document that really brings you to life. So what else would you say would be key parts of your process to get yourself press ready? What else did you do that made you feel, actually, I'm ready now, I'm press ready, I can do this?
I think doing that work on your target audience and really knowing who your audience are and really pinning that down helped as well, because it helped me kind of pitch as if I was pitching for that particular audience, for that person, for that woman that might need a bit of support and encouragement. And I think knowing who I was talking to was a big help once I nailed that, who my ideal customer was, my ideal client. Yeah,
absolutely fab. And then I think for me, the other thing that I saw with you was when you were presented with opportunities, once you had that confidence, then that felt like the next natural step. So but with us being able to help you actually find opportunities, it took away another barrier of the fear of contacting journalists or knowing where to start, or like having these ideas that you wanted to share but feeling stuck with where to go. So it was lovely that we got to support you in the early days to get you off the ground. And then it's the foundations, isn't it? It's just getting your foundations ready, knowing what to expect, knowing how these things work, seeing a little bit of behind the scenes, and then your confidence grows again because you're like, oh, I get this. It's not such a mystery. I understand how I can play this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we always get hooked on thinking about PR as just being, whether it's in newspaper articles and I did loads of like guesting on podcasts, like, and just sharing my story on guest blogging at the beginning. And all that helps really build my confidence as well. I really enjoyed that journey.
And I think that's great advice, actually, to think about, build it up slowly, like take the little steps that actually you can do without being too scared about, because they're quite nice, easy ways to get into PR, aren't they? But they're still building up your profile and presence as someone who is taking ownership of a subject area. Yeah. Still brilliant for your online profile to be found around those subject areas, and it's building up your little portfolio, which is great. So
and I think that, but like you just said, it's the ownership, isn't it? I think that's the bit I struggled with now, is you've got to just get to a point where you own it and own what you're saying and what you're doing, who you are.
So we can officially say she's now owning her shiz. This week alone, Rachel has featured on 17 radio interviews. 17 in 1 week. And the week's not even over. It's actually only Thursday when we're recording this. So who knows? But that's come as part of a brand collaboration, hasn't it? And these are some of the things that people, again, don't quite realise, like what all the feelers can be that come out from putting yourself out there and actually being a voice, a really recognized voice on a subject area. So I love the fact that now brands are coming to you and saying, Rachel, we need your expertise on our campaign. Like, tell us a little bit about how that's worked.
And it's actually, again, taking a kind of side shift, because I am known for my body confidence and championing midlife women, but the brand was actually a dating over 50s app, dating service. And I met my husband online. So it was kind of another part of my story that I could bring to this brand and say, well, listen, I've had experience of this in my 40s. And they really liked that. And then they did a big survey about body confidence of people over 50, so I could use I became the expert for them on that subject. So they chose me and Kate Taylor, who's a dating relationship expert. So we did interviews together. But then from the radio shows as well, it's been in the New York Post, the Daily Mail, the Sun. It's been all over the place this week. I keep getting little Google alerts. And that's the exciting thing, isn't it? Because once it's out there, who else picks up on it? And on the back of the
Yeah.
schedule stuff with the brand, other radio stations contacted me directly and said, we'd love you to come and talk about body confidence, about Emma Thompson's been doing some interviews. So I did some stuff off the back of that. So it's exciting. And now it's like, right, what can I do next week? It's going to be really quiet.
You get the bug, don't you? You get the bug of like, oh my God, right. Yeah, I'm in for this. I'm ready now. Like, give me more. So that's a really lovely little example of what PR can look like. Would you mind just maybe reflecting on a few of your other experiences and your other successes from a PR perspective so that people can understand actually all the different kinds of PR that are out there? Because you mentioned, there's so many parts of your story that you can share. There's obviously also your expertise and advice that you can offer. So there's just so many strands, aren't there? So which have been your favourite ones? Which have been your favourite pieces of coverage?
I did a really interesting podcast once with a naked podcast, and it was kind of halfway through my body confidence journey, so it was a bit of a scary one. And I got interviewed by two ladies from BBC Radio Sheffield. And we did the whole interview naked, the three of us, in her front room, which was really interesting. And I've never done anything like that before. It took me out of my comfort zone. But actually, it was one of the most honest conversations I've ever done, I think. I shared the most about myself. Maybe it's because you drop all your layers and you're just you. And I got some really fantastic feedback from that and lots of new people following me and really interesting conversations with me. So that, in terms of guest podcasting, that was a really interesting one to do by stepping out of my comfort zone.
That is really brave. Wow. Did we allowed to drink? I think I'd have been like, right, I need a glass of wine, please.
Yeah, no, it was like 10 o'clock in the morning. It was very bizarre.
Still.
Wow. And then I've had the Daily Mail come to the house. When I first started, the Daily Mail came with a photographer and a journalist to the house and did a whole piece on me. And that was when I was so scared and I didn't really feel in control of what was going on. And I made the mistake of reading comments, and the Daily Mail's notoriously bad for the
ever do that
comments. But what it taught me to just to not look at it, just forget about it, put it out there and move on to the next thing. And so that was a good lesson to learn. Because now I don't look at it. I just tick box and say, oh, great, I've been in the sun this week. Let's add that to my list.
It serves a purpose, doesn't it? It's doing a job. Yes, exactly. And you don't need to get stuck in all the nitty gritty and then there's some of the not so pleasant things that might come out of it. Yeah. And then women's magazines, you've been in a few of those?
I have. In fact, I've just picked up Prima this afternoon. I'm in July's Prima edition, talking about reinventing myself as a model at 46, which is exciting.
Oh, can't wait to see that.
Yeah. Just this week I've got to finish a piece for the Metro online. They've commissioned me to write something for them. So that's really exciting.
Love the Metro articles as well. They're all done really well.
Yeah. Yours magazine. I've done, I have.
When you think about it, you've done all right, haven't you?
I have, and even like the Good Housekeeping one that I did through you, it was a contact through the group. It was about friendships, so it was long-term friendships.
That was a gorgeous.
And so me and my best friend got to do something together, which was a really positive piece, and actually it meant that I could spend the day with my best friend, which was fab. It was a really great day.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that's the thing. It brings opportunities, doesn't it? And it also brings you a chance to reflect and think about what you're grateful for, because we use PR a lot for celebrating, don't we? So we use PR for celebrating our stories, what we've been through, our successes, our lives, what we stand for, our values. And I think I love the way that you use it in that way too. Like, I really see that you use it in that way too, in a really positive way.
Yeah, I think you have to. I think you've just got to not overthink stuff and put out your best self, haven't you? And just own what you're doing. And like we said at the beginning, unless you tell people what you're doing, how are they ever going to find you?
Yes, exactly. And then you're stuck in your little bubble thinking, I've got these amazing ideas, I'm doing this amazing work, but you're feeling frustrated because it's not reaching enough people and you're feeling like you're not making the impact that you want. And then that's when we all just like start banging our heads against a brick wall going, what am I doing it all for? Which we don't want to get to that point. We want to be celebrating everything that we're standing for, everything that we're working so hard towards, and the fact that we have been brave as well. This is the thing, like not everybody, even though in our world it feels like everybody's in this space, not everybody is in a position where they are following their dreams and they are actually every day getting to live by their passion and their purpose. Like, it's actually the minority of people that get to do this. So we've got to make it count, haven't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the interesting thing is, each step that you take, you want to get to the next level and you want more. So I like now, I was in Forbes last year and made a great article about denim. I loved that. But now I'm like, okay, I want to get into a bigger article. And so it's a kind of like
Keep
once you set
climbing.
that, once you set that kind of stone rolling, you want to just keep going with it.
Yeah, but then it's fun and it's playful and it's exciting, which, is all good. They're all good emotions for us to be involved in. And it helps drive our businesses forward when we're excited about our business, when we're energized by our business, and we're in this state of like, I'm totally up for these opportunities to come to me. Like, I'm really ready for this to help spread this message. You definitely do attract more things when you're in that zone. I totally believe that.
Yeah.
So, okay, amazing. So we've talked a little bit about how you got into this, but maybe just to sort of rewind a touch, we want to make people realize that we understand how they're feeling if this is completely new to them. We've celebrated loads of your wins today, and we've touched upon the fact that you were nervous and you were a bit scared at the beginning. But I suppose let's just touch on that a tiny bit more to just make people feel a little bit better if they themselves are sat thinking, I know I've got a massive message to spread. I know that I've really got some value to add here, but I just don't feel ready. Like, what would you say to them in terms of how to make that jump? Because it's easy for us to say, well, you just do it. But
I think you have got to find the right time for yourself. And I know you and I had lots of conversations before I was ready, because I knew you could see I should be ready, but I just wasn't. I wasn't ready. I wasn't brave enough to make those steps. And I think the biggest turning point for me was when I stopped worrying about what people might think of me. It was the judgment thing, and it was actually the judgment of people, not close friends and family, but like particularly on Facebook for me was a big one. So my personal page on Facebook is lots of people that think they know me but don't know me, but people, friends and kind of acquaintances. And I was more worried about what they would think if I started sharing my story than I was about anything else. And once I've got past that, and I did do a lot of mindset work on that. Once I got past that, I was thinking, why am I worrying about what they think of me? They're not going to kind of earn my living. They're not my target clients. And that really shifted everything for me.
Yeah, and that is a huge thing. That judgment piece is a massive thing, and no matter who it is that people are worried about, whether it is their closest friends and family, whether it's their ex-colleagues, we have a lot of people who are worried about, oh, well, people will think I've gone crazy. Like, I used to be a lawyer and now I'm doing this. Like, I think I've lost the plot. And ultimately, like you say, you've just got to put that into perspective and actually think about how much power you want to give those people, or how much you want to take back and actually take control. But yeah, that's a really nice, interesting element to share. I think people will relate to that for sure. Okay, amazing. So let's wrap up with a nice little positive in terms of how PR is making you feel these days. I want to put words into your mouth, but I'm going to try not to.
Excited, and I'm feeling really empowered now. I feel like I've got control over where I'm going and what direction I'm taking everything, and that I can share my voice now. So I think that's really empowering.
You said my favorite word. Empowered is how I see you. Like, empowered is exactly the word that I would use to describe you and how you are using PR to spread your message and to amplify it. So I think, that is the absolute perfect answer, which I would have said if you hadn't said it. But you did the job for me. So thank you so much, Rachel, for joining us. There's so much more that we could talk about, and I think we might have to get you back on in future to follow your path and your journey, but just to see how far you've come. I mean, it's not been a massive amount of time, has it, since you've been fully active and engaging in this stuff? So
no, I mean, if you think about kind of just before working with you, it's probably only a matter of kind of 3 years, really.
Yeah, and the levels that you are now at is just remarkable in terms of how you own your space. So it absolutely can be done, and we want people to really take the energy from this interview, I think, and from you really connecting to your mission and your message to hopefully make them feel, okay, right, I've got this, I can do it.
Yeah. Use their voices, they need to be heard.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for joining us. I will pop your links in so that people can come and join you and find you, obviously on your incredible podcast, which has just brilliant conversations, discussions that need to happen, and really inspiring, motivating women on there. And then also, obviously, all your socials as well, just to keep up with where you are, and we can celebrate you being featured in lots of more international press, I think.
Thank you. It's exciting. Thanks so much, Jen.
All right. See you later.
Take care. Bye.
So I hope you enjoyed that chat. I hope that you've taken something away from that chat. And what I imagine you may have taken away is that actually, do you know what? We all start somewhere. We've all got to start somewhere, and we've all got to start by actually speaking to ourselves, talking to ourselves a little bit and convincing ourselves that we are ready for this, that this is something that can naturally be a part of our marketing. This is something that we are more than ready for, more than prepared for, more than worthy of in terms of actually using the media to spread our message. So as you see, as you heard, Rachel wasn't always massively confident about putting herself out there. She wasn't always confident about standing behind that message. But by getting herself press ready and actually going through the core foundations that are needed to show the press that you are ready, that you are 100% someone that they could just pick up the phone to and you would deliver, you've got to build that trust, but you've also got to build that trust in yourself to enable you to put yourself forward in those situations. I always love talking to Rachel. She massively inspires me. I absolutely love what she's done and what she continues to do in terms of inspiring women globally to really look forward to their lives and to rewrite some of the narratives about actually what midlife looks like. So yes, go and check her out. Go and follow her on her socials. And I promise you, you will be inspired too. Rachel did mention that she was a part of our membership. That is one of the elements that really helped her. She's a part of our membership, and she also really got to grips with her message and her mission through us creating the media bio for her. So it would be wrong of me to leave you without telling you that those options are available to you. Our membership is actually currently open. We don't open our doors very often, but the doors are currently open at the moment throughout June. So please do check out the link in the show notes to see if that's something that you want to come and get involved in. It's such a low cost way of getting off the ground and getting our support. It's totally a no-brainer. And we've also got a little challenge running in there from the 20th of June to the 20th of July, which is going to even super drive even more your PR activity. So really focused content on getting you in the media over the next month with added extra support on top of all the stuff that we normally do in there. So do come and join us in there. And if you're interested in getting a media bio, then that's also a service that we offer. That's a one-off standard project that we can do for you. So please do drop me a DM on Instagram with media bio if that's something that you would like to explore. Okay, I'm going to leave you there for now. I wish you a fabulous week and I will see you soon. Bye. Thank you for listening to PR Powerhouse with me, Jo Swan. If you want to feel empowered and supported and excited about getting in the press, come and join us in our free community over on Facebook at PR You Can Do It. I would absolutely love to see you there so I can help you take those next steps to getting in the media.